Hi students, so we're going to go over how to make our value drawing of our paper airplane. So I have my value scale in front of me so I can refer to it as I'm drawing, and I have one of my paper airplanes. I've placed it on a white piece of paper so I can see the shadow better, and you can see my dramatic lighting. I do actually have a lamp on it so that you guys can see the shadows better as I'm drawing. All right, let's get started. So I'm gonna use just a regular pencil, and I'm gonna do a very light pressure contour drawing of my paper airplane. And unlike my other practice contour drawings, I'm actually trying to make my outlines as accurate as I can. So I am going to, if there is a line that's out of place, I will erase and fix it. One tip is if you're finding that your line maybe isn't right, don't erase it until you've drawn another attempt at that line, so that way you're not redrawing the same incorrect line over and over and over. Our drawings will most likely not be perfect, but we're just aiming to kind of refine and make changes if needed. So one thing we don't want to do is be like, oh, that line's wrong, I'm just going to leave it, right? Let's try our best to obtain accuracy as much as possible. All right, so this is what I'm doing now is I'm doing the contour drawings. It's quite light because I'm trying my best to use light pressure. All right, so now I am going to go and start shading in the different areas that need to be darker. So I'm starting here with, so on my value scale, probably about a 3. And I'm shading in sort of, there's a cast shadow that's underneath the wing of the airplane and under the airplane itself. So once I've shaded an area, I can use my Q-tip to blend it in a bit so that there's not so many white spots. And then I'll move on to a different area. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the area that I'm about to shade, and I'm gonna ask myself, okay, where on my value scale is that area? And then I'll shade that and I'll smudge it with my Q-tip, and then I'll move on to the next part. So right now I'm doing the top of the wing there, which is also maybe about a 3 on my value scale. All right, now I'm starting in the area between, like where the fold is, in between the two sides of the airplane, and that is probably my darkest value on this drawing, so probably about a 5. And then later on, there's that shadow that's kind of to the left of the airplane, and that's also a 5 value as well. All right, so there's that little space underneath the fold, and it's quite bright. So I'm using an eraser to lighten up just a tiny little area underneath the fold. And then I'm gonna darken the area just beside the part that I lightened with my eraser, just to give a little bit more contrast. So I want to have a full range of all 5 of those values on my value scale in this drawing. I don't want to have just the super, super dark or the super, super light. A white piece of paper is perfect for practicing value scale drawings, like our paper airplane. It's perfect because we can really see the shadows really well. All right, so I'm trying to match up and make sure that I have all 5. All right, and one more time I'm gonna use my eraser, my Q-tip for a bit more smudging, and my eraser as a drawing tool. So I'm trying to lighten up that little folded area there, try to make it the white of the paper again so that it has a really strong contrast beside that shadow. So thinking about our eraser as not a tool for fixing mistakes, but as a drawing tool is kind of a different way to think of that tool. All right, so now I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do that dark shadow very last at the back there, and it's a 5 value. So I'm gonna go do that, and then we have one more step and we're all done. All right, so now I'm gonna grab my pencil, and you know how I did the contour lines really light? So I'd like them to be a little bit more visible in this drawing because you can't really see some of them. There's not enough contrast. So I'm gonna just go over my outline, my contour lines with a pencil and darken them a little bit so that the viewer's eyes can actually see them. And now I know that they're all in the proper place, right? So I don't have to worry about doing a line too dark and then having to erase it afterwards. And if my lines are a little bit wiggly, that's okay. And there we go. And now I'm just doing one additional thing. So I'm drawing kind of a diagonal line to to represent maybe that this airplane is sitting on a table, or maybe this is representing the piece of paper that the airplane is sitting on, just so that it doesn't look like it's just floating in space. If you want to do a floating airplane in space, it's fine. But I just thought it would finish the drawing a bit if I do some sort of background. And I'm just erasing some highlights to make them a bit brighter, and then I'm all done. You're going to take a photo of your completed drawing and upload it to your sketchbook. Watching.